It's Friday the 7th of October 2016 and I'm back in Abridge to continue along the Three Forest Way. Let's hope there are no blocked footpaths on this section as there were on the last. Three Forest Way goes up Hoe Lane in Abridge. Next we turn left into Alderwood Drive. We turn right on an enclosed path from Alderwood Drive and we come to this field where the path turns left. We come to this road where we turn right for a couple of 100 yards. We now bear off left down this footpath. The path heads across a field to the gap between the trees. Next, over a footbridge and up the field opposite. Next, the path enters this very pleasant woodland. As yet, I haven't seen a single Three Forest Way indicator, but I'm definitely on the route. We now bear left over this stile and oh goody, looks like a ploughed field ahead. Fortunately, there's a grass strip along the edge of the ploughed field which I'm walking along now. The path along the edge of the field leads out to this track where Three Forest Way turns left towards Lambourne End Church. And there is a view of the church at Lambourne End. Sign above the door at Lambourne End Church. Three Forest Way turns right along a path beside a hedge following the churchyard of Lambourne End Church. And here's the first way marker I've seen. It's at the point in the last clip. Confirmation we're on Three Forest Way, but quite erratic way marking. Now heading along the field edge near Lambourne End Church. From the top of the field in the last clip, there's a view looking back. And at the end of the field, we cross this bridge and Kissing Gate. Three Forest Way now crosses this enormous field. Fortunately, it's a grass field. We don't cross right over the field in the last clip. About 100 yards along the hedge on the left, we take this stile. And there's another stile ahead in the distance. We don't cross the second stile in the last clip. We turn right just before it along this wide track. The path passes this information board. Apparently we were in Conduit Wood, and on the information board there's some information about good old Three Forest Way. The bridleway leads out of the wood and proceeds through trees. It's starting to rain, light rain. We've had this off and on all the morning. Hopefully it will stop again. Further along, there's confirmation we're on Three Forest Way. And that's the path ahead. We now come out to New Road, Lambourne, where we turn left for about 50 yards. We take this path, we turn right off the road along here, now heading towards Hainault Forest. The path goes along the edge of some more very pleasant woodland. The track continuing towards Hainault Forest. We've now entered Hainault Forest. We come to this wide track. We turn left. We now turn right off that large track along this path. It's about 70 yards from where we joined the major track in the last clip. And there's confirmation that we're in Hainault Forest. We take the path ahead there. Beautiful Hainault Forest. I just heard in the top of the trees it's raining quite heavily. Fortunately I'm sheltered here, and there's the path continuing. At this path junction we continue ahead uphill. The path bears slightly right where another path comes in from the left and gets wider. At this junction, Three Forest Way turns left. You know, there are no Three Forest Way markers in any of the three forests, and that's where the route is complicated. I just don't understand it. Here we turn right, just a few yards along from the junction at the last clip. Heading along this pleasant track on the advice of a nice lady. Now on this beautiful wide track through Hainault Forest. I've now come out to this dual carriageway. Whether it's at the right point or not, I'm not sure. I'm back on track now. Three Forest Way goes through this kissing gate. We're also on part of the London Loop, a 150-mile walk that encircles London. Now on this path, cutting between two roads. We now head across this recreation area to join another main road. We now cross the main road and head down Chapel Lane on the other side. And there is the chapel in question. At the end of Chapel Lane, the walk goes down a narrow enclosed path and then across a small field to the stile ahead. Now along the edge of this field, I can see a stile ahead. After the stile in the last clip, Three Forest Way turns left along this track. We now turn right down this narrow path. Not very pleasant. Further along the narrow path, great views open up over to the left. And there's the path ahead. Shortly after the last clip, we take a path off to the left across this field with the great views ahead. The path bears slightly right to go along this grassy section, and it goes beside a hedge. By the way, we're still on part of the London Loop as well as Three Forest Way. We now have to go across this ploughed field diagonally. In the far corner of the field, we come to this track where Three Forest Way, and indeed London Loop, turns right. And from the point of the last clip at that field corner by the track, there are some great views looking back. Now heading up the track, we've got to walk along main roads coming, which I'm not looking forward to. At this point we leave the route of London Loop, which turns left. Three Forest Way continues up there. We now come to the road where we turn right. There's about a mile or so to do on roads. But at least there's a pavement here, at least. Now walking along Chigwell Lane, I have to go under the M11, and it's definitely the M11 this time, and it's a junction, so I need to cross slip roads as well. Not the best part of the Three Forest Way. Now crossing the River Roding, still on the road. Now turn left off the road into the Roding Valley Meadows Nature Reserve. And there's the path ahead. Now on this path beside the River Roding, which is over to the left. Still following the banks of the Roding. Now heading across this recreation field. At this point we're getting near Loughton station and the end of the walk. Now I just wanted to say that apart from the disaster of the impassable paths on the Ongar to Abridge section of Three Forest Way, in effect once I get to Loughton I've done Three Forest Way. The section between Roydon and Sawbridgeworth I did when I was doing Harcombe Way. It's exactly the same route, but I did it in the reverse direction at the beginning of this year, and there is a video on YouTube. I'm debating whether I'm going to repeat it in this direction I've been doing Three Forest Way. I'm not sure. But anyway, let's head for Loughton. Now heading up Roding Road to Loughton's underground station and the end of the walk. We now turn left off Roding Road along this path to the station. Now on the path by the railway leading to Loughton station. And now at Loughton underground station and the end of today's walk along Three Forest Way.